What's up, guys?
Hey.
Happy Wednesday. Back again with another banger, as my kids would say.
You're so old. No, they don't say that
They
anymore.
don't say it anymore. They did like 5 years ago.
When they were like all cute and little and wanted to create their own YouTube channels.
Yes.
That had like no subscribers.
What's up, guys? Mr. Cool Hunter here.
They hate us.
I think he deleted that video, but there was one video that he was like, I'm going to get a mohawk. I'm so excited. Da, da, da. You'll see in my next video. And the next video, he's like, so you may remember that I said I was going to get a mohawk, but I didn't because my mom said no, but we got this haircut. And it's just, it was funny.
It was funny.
Maybe we'll look back in 5 years at these videos and listening to these podcasts like that was funny.
Yeah. You'd be embarrassed.
Yes, but we're here. We have our Wawa coffee.
That's right.
Can I make a confession?
What?
I don't really like Wawa coffee.
So
I
if
don't
you're
think
not
it's that good.
If you're not from the tri-state area.
No, they're like further out now.
Are they?
Yeah. I think there's a Wawa. I think my brother said there's a Wawa in Boston.
Really?
But there's Dunkin's everywhere.
Right.
But Wawa is like a convenience store, like a Sev or I know
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
A Sev. You're so pretentious.
Shut up. Sheets. I've heard of those. Quick Check.
Yeah.
What else?
Heritage Farms.
Heritage Farms?
Yeah, or Heritage.
Is it called Heritage?
I
no,
think so.
It's Royal Farms. You're
Oh, there's a
thinking
Royal,
of.
but there's
Yeah,
a Heritage.
There's a Heritage.
Yeah.
But Mike was like, "Do you want to stop and get coffee this morning?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I could use the coffee, but like I'm drinking it." And I'm like, "I don't know why I get coffee at Wawa because it's not good."
Ooh,
I know
shots
you
fired.
like Wawa
I do
coffee.
like. I honestly like
I
it better
don't.
than Starbucks.
I don't like Starbucks regular coffee.
Yeah. If I want regular coffee, I'll go to Wawa. If I want something fancy, it like when on my basic fall mode.
Oh my goodness.
When I want my pumpkin
His
spice.
skinny pumpkin spice latte.
Darn right.
I like our Nespresso, which probably sounds pretentious,
Even
but
more
I got it
pretentious.
on a buy nothing site for free.
You did.
So get off me.
Right.
But I like the Nespresso coffee because it's like creamy.
Yeah.
And I can't have milk in my coffee. So, let's do a fun little game. What is your favorite thing to get at Wawa besides coffee? If coffee would be the favorite thing.
It would be a soft pretzel.
Yeah.
It's from Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all right there.
Yeah.
They're decent.
Yeah. I mean, they're the next best thing to a Philly soft pretzel.
Yes.
But
yeah.
yeah.
I like when they do the doubles too.
Oh, yes.
You can get the bag with two of them in one.
And you think you're going to share it, but you really don't.
No, you eat
You never
both
do.
and then you hate yourself afterwards.
Right.
My favorite thing to get at Wawa used to be the chicken finger and mac and cheese meal
Wow.
because the mac and cheese is banging. It's really good.
Says the lactose intolerant
But now I can
person.
actually, that was the last thing I ate when I realized that I was lactose intolerant because I got violently ill. And I was like, I think I have food poisoning. And you're like, no, I think it's the dairy, buddy.
Yeah.
I also love the gobbler.
That comes out only seasonal, but yes, the gobbler.
The gobbler's like, it's like Thanksgiving in a sandwich. It's hot turkey, gravy, stuffing. They put cranberry sauce on it. I get it without the cranberry sauce. I used to add cheese to it, which was amazing. But yeah, those are like my two go-to. Well, used to be my two go-tos. Now it's like, this is probably TMI. So we try to teach the boys things to do to be good husbands in the future. And I said to Hunter one day, I said, now, when it's that time of the month for your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, I said, you get her some Advil, you get her a heating pad, and you go to Wawa and you get her 3 snacks, 1 fruity, 1 savory, and 1 chocolate.
Oh, chocolate, yeah.
I said, and you'll be like the best boyfriend, fiance, husband ever. So my go-to in those instances, I get sour watermelons, which are like my favorite candy.
Patch Kids. Watermelon patch
Yeah,
Kids.
the sour.
Yeah.
But they're not the kids; they're the watermelon. They know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I get a bag of Doritos and Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yep.
It's like the trifecta. Throw in a can of Coke, and we're like good to go. Isn't that awful?
That is awful.
But you are good, and you always go for like a protein cookie, I feel like.
I do.
Or a protein bar, or
Right.
nuts.
I try.
Yeah.
I try at least.
If
I
you
think-
could like be bad, what would you get?
Oh, if I could be bad, what would I get?
Yeah. Because the donuts aren't good at Wawa either, so it wouldn't even be
they're
worth
not.
it.
They're not. Unless they're like, what?
Royal Farms
Royal Farms has
has-
Krispy Kremes.
But they're like not hot.
I know, but still, they're still good.
Yeah. We're spoiled because we have a drive-through Krispy Kreme like 10 minutes away in Collingswood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts. Sorry, not sorry. I'm getting one of those single pack Pop-Tarts.
Spit my terrible coffee out.
Yes, I have an addiction. But
Mike is
Pop-Tart.
addicted to Pop-Tarts, and I used to buy them when we first got married, when we weren't working together, which this will be like a good transition into today's episode. But I used to work full-time for a mortgage company, and I would go grocery shopping on Sundays, and I would get those double boxes of Pop-Tarts, and I would come home from work on Monday and they would be gone. And I would yell at the boys like, yo, you guys ate. How many are in a pack?
I think 8. No. Yeah, 8.
8. Mm-hmm. So I would come home on Monday and there would be like 16 Pop-Tarts gone. And they're like, we didn't eat them all. We each had a pack. Like, that's 2. Like, we didn't eat them all. Da, da, da. Years later, while Mike is preaching a sermon, he confesses that he was the one
my Pop-Tart addiction.
that was eating so the boys ate 4. So you were eating 12 Pop-Tarts in 24 hours.
I don't know about that. Maybe 12. I'm not that bad.
But for years, he was throwing the boys under the bus and blaming them when it was him all along. So I can no longer buy Pop-Tarts. He specifically asked me, don't buy Pop-Tarts, because he has no self-control when it comes to Pop-Tarts. What are your favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts?
S'mores or
the s'mores are
the brown sugar ones.
The s'mores are amazing.
They are amazing.
They're really good.
Yeah,
I get that.
You know what I think it would be cool, and then we have to jump into the episode. I think on your Instagram, because my Instagram sucks. On your Instagram, you should do a poll on top 10 seasonal things, like, because you mentioned like the gobbler, right? So like the gobbler or the Shamrock Shake. You know, things that only come out seasonally in certain restaurants, to see what would be the top 10.
Or like Wawa could like sponsor us, and I could do what is your favorite Wawa find.
Facts. We're eager for some sponsorship.
We thirsty.
Yeah, we are.
It always reminds me of my grandpa, though, because when we were young, he would pick us up from school every day, and he would joke around and drive past our house, like pretending like he didn't know where he was going to, and be like, "Grandpa, you passed us." But he would always, whenever we would pass a Wawa, he would go, "Wawa, Wawa, 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 Wawa." Funny thing is, when Hunter was little, he would do that anytime we passed a Wawa, but he was never alive when my grandfather was alive. So it was just, it was like this cute little like God wink, like, oh, you know, like he's doing something my grandpa did, and it always warmed my heart when he did it.
That's funny. My little brother, one time we were determining whether or not we should go to Wawa, and we were at that stage where he was so little that he didn't really couldn't spell what we thought he couldn't spell. And I was like, yo, do y'all want to go to WAWA? And he was like, I want to go to WAWA. And he knew instantly what that meant.
He just couldn't say the word.
Yeah, he couldn't say it. So.
That's cute.
Shout out EJ. But in this episode, we want to talk about working together, right? And learning to work together. So many people are working remotely from home now, more than ever. I forget what this statistic is. I think like most people are at least staying home twice a week, if not more.
Yeah.
Working from home. And then if you're married or, you know, with a roommate, multiple people are working from home. So I wanted to discuss like our discoveries and headaches of working from home. And it all started at the pandemic, right? So at the beginning of the pandemic, we had to learn very quickly how to navigate working from home. And it was hard because not only were we working from home, but we also had to, in essence, homeschool our kids, right?
We had it a lot easier than like my sister had a toddler and a kindergartner running around in their underwear, trying to get them to learn the stuff they needed to learn, while she's like a school guidance counselor and she's on Zoom with kids, and like the kids are running around naked in the background. And she was just like, this is too much. Ours were older. Our only feat was making sure that they actually got up and that they actually didn't fall back asleep. Because like we would walk into Chase's room the one day and he's laying in bed with his Chromebook open, and we're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm in wood shop. And we're like, what?
I'm in wood shop.
So we had it a lot easier than most people. But yeah, it was a challenge at first.
So what annoyed you?
So Mike and I are very different. I'm like a morning person. I'm very routined. And I love a schedule.
Yeah.
And you're the complete opposite. So like, whereas I'm like, okay, let's get up and start the day, Mike will snooze for hours, start his day later, and then it's like wind down time at night for me, and he's still working, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
we're done working, you
I'm
know?
a night owl.
Yeah. So we like that was a struggle, but like to be completely honest, in the beginning of the pandemic, like I took it easy. Like I would sleep in. I didn't shower for a couple days at a time.
That's
like
not true. A couple days? No, I wouldn't let you go a couple days.
it was like I would go like 2 days without showering, wearing the same clothes because it was like a free for all. We didn't know what we were doing.
I showered every day, folks.
Whatever. Like because you're better than me.
I am.
But it was like a fiasco in the beginning, and it got to the point where it really affected like my mental health. And I felt really out of sorts, which raises my anxiety on top of everything else that was going on as it was. And I finally cracked down and I was like, no, I need to like get up at a certain time every day. I need to shower. I need to get ready. I need to put makeup on and get dressed, regardless of the fact that I know I'm not leaving my house. And I need to form a schedule in order to like do what I'm supposed to do and not feel like I'm losing my mind in the process. So for me, that was like what helped me. I'll let you speak for yourself because you were like a totally different monster than I was.
Yeah, I think I need to. I'm doing a better job at it, but I need to not believe that I have to do everything solely based on inspiration. Right? So I have to be inspired to do it.
Yeah.
You know. So when I'm inspired to work out, I'm gonna work out. When I'm inspired to create content, I'm inspired to create content. Like I used to just always go by inspiration rather than a schedule.
Yeah.
And so, yes, after much wrestling and processing and talking and more wrestling, you know, we got to that conclusion. But so I don't want to beat a dead horse when it comes to the pandemic because like some people are, I know
so
we're
over
tired.
talking about the pandemic.
However, people are still working together.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So in working together,
And when you say working together, we don't necessarily mean working together in the same job. We mean like you're both working together at home, just you do separate things.
right.
You know what I mean?
Or I think the principles that we're going to lay out in this episode is not only just going to help the people who are working together in the same space, but sometimes you'll work together maybe on the same home project or work together, you know, leading, you know, little league together or working, you know, on a project in church or small group or something to that nature, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, people who live together might work together on certain things. So how do you navigate that? How do you, you know, process that? And, so we have a couple principles and we'll just flesh them out as we go.
Yeah.
I think the first principle that we discovered very quickly is that we had to establish and then clearly vocalize our expectations of one another.
Yes.
Clearly establish and vocalize the expectations of one another. Why? Because sometimes I didn't know. I didn't know when you were working and when you weren't working. Or I didn't know your expectations of me, you know, getting up early,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know those things. And
Yeah.
so then there are moments where we're working in proximity to each other, but you're like secretly frustrated and bitter towards me. Yes, you. And I'm like, what the heck is her problem, right? And we're just walking around with unvoiced expectations.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we had to learn very quickly, okay, let's sit down and write clearly to each other what are our expectations? Because this is probably a made-up statistic, but I believe whenever I'm counseling couples, 9 times out of 10, most of your frustrations are based on unvoiced expectations. All right, most of your frustrations are based on unvoiced expectations. You haven't clearly communicated what you expect from the other person. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd also, and I don't know if you're going to cover this in an upcoming point, because you're always so much more planned out than I am when it comes to this stuff, at least. I would also add clarifying, vocalizing expectations and boundaries.
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to cover that or if we can include that there.
Yeah, I think we could include it there for sure. Yep.
Yeah, because with the expectations, and I may be jumping ahead, there have been times where like the boundaries of work within the home, because you can be it's very easy for work to take over home and work to be and that was something we ran into during the pandemic. People knew we were home, so they thought they could text, email, call us whenever.
Yep. And
that we should answer and we should be available, and creating those boundaries like, okay, these are my working hours within the home.
Right.
Because if not, like there's no balance.
Yep.
I know work-life balance is so cliche at this point, but like you have to have some sort of boundary
Right.
in order to have a successful working environment and have those expectations for your partner.
Yep.
So I think that's important to add into there.
100%. Yeah, and we'll cover more of that later. But
Okay.
yes, but what were some other expectations that you had of me that it took a while for you to vocalize? Can you recall?
Like my expectation was around 5:00 work was done.
Yep.
You know, that once like we started making dinner and like the kids were done their school days and all that, like that we were done working so we could all be present and together as a family.
Right. And we talked about this at the previous one, but like in my head, I confuse proximity with intimacy, where again, we were around each other. So I'm thinking like, why do you need to connect? We were around each other all day, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean we're connected.
Yeah.
So you vocalizing that, I was like, oh snap, yeah, let me clock out at 5:30, whatever. You know, that was a big expectation.
Yeah.
The other, an expectation that I had of you, that sometimes, and we both do this, and we'll talk about this a little. We'll vocalize the principle later, but we would just have these impromptu meetings.
Yes.
In the kitchen.
Yes.
In the bedroom.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And start talking about work, and we just slide into work. We do it on date nights. We do it on.
Well, I mean, our dining room was a recording studio. We had
Right.
lightings. We had a
Right.
green screen. Like it was pretty insane.
So I think sitting down and establishing clearly vocalizing expectations is really important. The second one, I think is a great transition, I think is identify work environments and hours, right?
Yeah.
So we had to very quickly adjust and go, okay, when I'm in the office, I'm in the office, right? And so when I had my laptop out on the dining room, so we had, you know, we're not balling, so we don't have multiple offices in our house, but we had one office, which that's where you kind of planted and worked. And then I worked at the dining room table. And so I would get frustrated because, again, I didn't know we didn't establish work environments and hours. It's 5:30. I'm still typing away on my laptop, and you start setting placemats and plates out and everything. And I'm just like, dude, and you're like nudging my laptop away, and I'm still typing, and you're setting up. And I was like, what's happening? I'm still working here.
Yeah.
But in your mind, like, no, this is not an office anymore.
Yeah.
This is a dining room. So
Yeah.
I think establishing work environments and not making the bedroom the boardroom.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. You have anything to add to that?
No, for me, the work environment was clear because I was in an office that I was able to just go in and shut the door. But for you, it was skewed. And like, looking back, wouldn't it have been so much easier instead of me putting plates out and like nudging you off the table, just be like, hey, you know, like it's 5:30, let's wrap it up.
Right. Yes.
But no.
But you would just slide my stuff over. I'm like, chick, what are you doing?
Are you going to get the hint? Or
Right,
what?
right. So I think identify work environments and hours. And
Yes.
again, you said, hey, at this time, and we both set alarms on our phone.
Yeah.
When we're done work.
Yeah.
Right. And we would then communicate, hey, I'm past due on some things. After dinner, I'm just going to clock in maybe an extra hour. But communicate and dare, you know, I hope this doesn't like rub people the wrong way. We would ask each other permission for that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, because we're violating an expectation.
Yeah.
So let me ask you permission. Hey, this is deadline. This is a snapshot, not the motion picture. This is the exception, not the rule. Can I do this?
And we do that now too. We had spoken in the Crazy Calendars episode about looking at the week ahead together and like, or the month ahead. And like, for example, it's mid-January when we're recording this, and January you're traveling 4 times in the month.
Yeah.
So looking ahead to January, we said, you know, Mike's traveling all these times. These are the free dates we have. Let's keep these clear so that we have that moment. But there's also an understanding that like some of those lines are going to be moved a little just because of the season we're in.
Right.
And that's okay, but communication's the key to that.
Yep. Communication's the key to that. So identify work environments and hours. I think the third thing is to go away sometimes. Right. So go work a day at Starbucks, and we like this one joint in Haddonfield. We're just itching for sponsorships here. Jersey Java.
They have good coffee.
Really good coffee
and muffins.
But what's the other thing they make there? The egg things.
The egg bites?
Anyway, but
I don't know.
Jersey Java, shout out. But
We like to work there a lot. Though.
Yeah. So to get out, work in a different
and
environment.
it's honestly like energizing. I feel like because you're around people. Because a lot of times working at home, you can get so like isolated.
Yep.
Like if you need to have your phone and your computer, like cool, you don't have to stay home and do that. You can go to a local coffee shop or a WeWork space. I know in New York, there's a lot of like hotels that have like co-working spaces, which are like super cool. It's just a change of scenery. Yeah. And I found that to be really refreshing.
And you network so much.
Yes.
Sometimes when you work from home, you forget to network. And how important, the old saying is your net worth is connected to your network.
Yeah.
And so it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so when you're working at home all the time, you just give each other a break. If you're getting on each other's, there's some days, let's just be honest, like you're just highly irritable.
Yeah.
Right? So just work somewhere else. We love each other, but work somewhere else.
We've also had days where we go to the coffee shop together, and it's fine because even though we're working together, we're not working on the same thing. So it's like we both had a different experience at the coffee shop.
Right.
And on a nice day, it's really nice to go sit outside, have the sun beating on you, doing your thing. Wi-Fi's free. You can write off your coffee and snacks.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Right. So yeah, get out of there. Number 4, I think learn each other's modes. Right. So there's certain modes that now this falls in line where we're working directly with each other in the same organization, right? So there's certain modes where like I'm feeling creative and you're straight up on administrative mode.
Yes.
And that's where we clash the most, right or wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So I'm like, yo, I got this idea. And you're like, yo, not there yet.
Yeah.
Not even, can't. And then I feel defeated because I'm just like, I need somebody to bounce these ideas off. And you're like, I don't have a basket to catch that in.
And I'm in the middle of something and you're interrupting me nonstop, which is something I realized last week, which I told you when you were away Sunday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got so much work done while you were gone because you're not like constantly interrupting me. And I do it to you before because I know that's going to be your response. Well, you do it too.
No, I wasn't.
So we've come up with this phrase. Are you interruptible?
Right.
So before interrupting them, hey, are you interruptible? And being okay when the person says no.
Yeah.
So
it stung in the beginning because I'm just like, but what do you mean you're not interruptible?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not at your beck and call, Mike Rosato.
But not only that, modes too. I think this is confusing, and maybe this will help some people out that are listening because I think this is huge. I had to learn this. All because you're on your phone doesn't mean you're not working.
Yes, that would get me because I would see you scrolling. And I'm like, this dude, he's going to be working till 7 o'clock tonight, but he's taking 40 minutes and he's scrolling away right now.
Right.
And he's infringing upon our family time.
Sometimes it's distraction, but sometimes it's actual work, unfortunately.
And just being aware of that.
Right. Same thing with you. Sometimes you're putting together content on your phone. You use your phone as a video editor. You use your phone as a captioner. You use you know what I mean? You're hustling or you're responding to text messages and you're doing this, and that's still a part of work. Like we're in the business of people.
Yes.
And so, but sometimes like when I'm looking at you at your phone, I'm thinking, oh, she's not in work mode.
Yeah.
Right. So again, learning each other's modes is really important, regardless of what device is in front of them.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And
we have
for
to,
sure.
We have to definitely learn that. So learn each other's road. Big, sub point to that is that's a great question. Are you interruptible? And honor the answer. Sometimes you don't want to.
Mike will be like, but I have this. No, I'm not. I'm like deep in CSVs right now, and I need you to back up.
Yep. Yeah. And I think last little principle I learned is like even though you're working in the same household under the same umbrella, plan lunch dates.
Yeah.
Where you just put the devices away and connect for a half hour, an hour.
Or even at the end of the workday, like don't dismiss asking your partner, how was your day?
How was your day?
Because just because you're in the same house all day doesn't mean that you had the same experience.
I sucked at that.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
But yeah, either breaking for lunch and like having a conversation about like what's going on in your day, or just at the end of the day, hey, how was your day? Like anything happened? Da, da, da. Like it makes the other person feel seen and appreciated and noticed, and you're just not assuming that you know everything that happened just because you're under the same roof.
Yep.
Because I would wager to say you have no idea.
Nope, we don't. You don't. So this is some principles. You have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I think I think listening to this and then going back and listening to Crazy Calendar would be helpful because using focuses on your phone, not to distract yourself during the workday, stuff like that, because lines get blended so easily. And I think there's other time management things you can do, blocking out if you have kids home with you, stuff like that, utilizing nap time to actually do work. Because sometimes I feel like nap time can get taken over by the endless scroll.
Yep.
And then the end of the day comes and you're frazzled because you're like, I didn't get anything done. But utilizing the time you have while still paying attention to your kids.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, I don't have anything off the top of my head. And I'm sure this is over the 20 to 25 minute time.
No, but I think it's good. I think it'll help everybody. There's so many people working from home, especially with their spouse or their partners or their friends or roommates or whatever.
For sure.
And this is good stuff to learn. So
totally.
Awesome.
So if you aren't already, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platforms. We are on all of them. Do us a favor. Also, give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Give it a share. Send it to a friend. Post it in your stories. And we'll be back next Wednesday.
Yep.
Instagram, Mike Rosato, Jillian Rosato. TikTok, Mike Rosato, Jillian.Rosato. And
Wawa, holla at us.
Yeah.
We here. We in there.
Or Jersey Java.
Either one. We'll be fine.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.